Hey guys, this is Malinki. Welcome back to my channel Voice of Malinki. Today we will talk about what is memory, types of memory and mechanism of memory formation. And if you are new in my channel, please subscribe my channel, and if you like my video, please do like, comment and share my video. So in the last lecture we have talked about learning, and in this lecture I am going to talk about memory. So learning is the acquisition of information and memory is the retention and storage of that information. So learning is the acquisition of information and memory is the retention and storage of that information. Like, from this video you are collecting some information, that is learning, and after this video you will remember these information and store them in your brain for exam, that is memory. So there are two main types of memory. First is explicit or declarative memory, and second is implicit or procedural or non-declarative memory. So first let's talk about explicit or declarative memory. So you can remember the name of your country, right? I can say I am from India. I can recall it. Or I know that this is a pen, so I can recall its name. So this is explicit memory. This is also called declarative memory. Why? Because I can declare it. This is a pen. I can declare. So explicit or declarative memory is the memory of experiences that can be declared, such as facts, objects, events, places and names. Okay, so what is explicit or declarative memory? Let me write it down. It is the memory of experiences that can be declared, such as facts, objects, events, places and names. Now this type of memory requires conscious recall. It requires conscious recall, and it is stored in the cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex part of our brain stores this type of memory. Next, what is implicit memory? So if you know how to ride a bike, you will never forget, because it is your skill that you have learned. So that is implicit memory. Implicit or procedural or non-declarative memory is the memory of motor skills, procedures and rules. So let me write it down. It is memory of motor skills, procedures, and rules. This type of memory does not require conscious recall. Does not require conscious recall, and it is stored in the cerebellum. So it is stored in the cerebellum part of our brain. So like when I say that this is a pen, I am conscious about it. But when I ride a bike, I do not require to recall the skill consciously. I am spontaneously recalling it. And this is not declarable. Nothing to declare here. So this is not declarable. That's why this is non-declarative memory. Now, declarative memory is further divided into semantic memory and episodic memory. So, you know what a dog is or what is a computer? So, that is semantic memory. This does not require your personal experience, right? So, this is a general fact. What is computer? What is a dog? This is a general fact. It does not require your personal experience. So you also know what is a dog, and I also know what is a dog. Your friend also knows what is a dog. So semantic memory deals with ideas and concepts that are not drawn from personal experience. So semantic memory is ideas and concepts that are not drawn from personal experiences, right? So next, that is the episodic memory. So it is the episodic memory. So what is the episodic memory? Could you remember your first day of college? So first I will write down the example here in semantics. So it is the idea of a dog. Now, could you remember your first day of college? So this is your experience. Your and my experience might be completely different in this case. You got a love letter at your first day of college. I got a kick. So the experience and memory is different in our cases. So episodic memory deals with ideas and concepts that are drawn from our personal experience. That is exactly opposite of semantic memory. So it is episodic memory. I am writing it here. It is ideas and concepts that are drawn from personal experience. Now let's talk about the types of implicit memory. So implicit memory is further divided into 4 types. These are priming, procedural memory, associative memory, and non-associative memory. So this is of 4 types. Now I will talk about one by one. So if I tell you few letters, if I tell you few letters like A, P, P, you can easily assume that I am talking about apple, right? So that is priming. So priming is a phenomena in which previous stimuli influences how people react to subsequent stimuli. So what is priming? It is a phenomena in which previous stimuli influence how people react to subsequent stimuli. Here previous stimuli means you knew the word apple and its spelling from your childhood. And subsequent stimuli is that what I am providing you now. I am spelling the word. So from your previous stimuli and experience, you can follow me now that APP means it would be apple. Next is procedural memory. So if you know how to cook rice, you will never forget it. So procedural memory includes skills and habits which once acquired become unconscious and automatic. Once you learned how to make rice, it is now your automatic skill. So what is procedural memory? So it includes skill and habits which once acquired become unconscious and automatic. So this is called procedural memory because it requires a procedure to recall. That's why it is procedural memory. So when you are trying to learn how to make rice, that is a procedure, and then you can recall it forever. So this is procedural memory. Next is associative memory. So sometimes when we walk past a restaurant, we remember our friend whom we met first at that restaurant. That is associative memory because there is an association between that restaurant and our friend. So there is the association between two events, that is the associative memory. So associative memory is defined as the ability to learn and remember the relationship between unrelated items. Here two unrelated items are our friend and restaurant. So what is associated memory? It is defined as the ability to learn and remember the relationship between unrelated items, that is associated memory. Next is non-associative memory. Now, non-associative memory does not require any association between two events unlike the last one, that is associated memory. Non-associative memory is the form of memory that habituates or sensitizes an animal's response to a stimulus upon repeated exposure. So we can write that non-associative memory is the form of memory that habituates or sensitizes an animal's response to a stimulus upon repeated exposure. So if I scold a child first day, he will cry. But if I continuously scold him, he will get habituated and he will not be scared anymore and he will not cry. So this is habituation. And what is sensitization? So if I apply a loud sound to an animal, the animal gets agitated and it tries to escape from that sound. If I continuously apply that loud sound, the animal may respond even more strongly because it gets sensitized to that sound. Now, based on the span of memory, declarative or non-declarative memory is of two types. First is short-term memory and second is long-term memory. So short-term memory is the temporary ability to recall information for seconds to minutes. So it is temporary ability to recall information for seconds to minutes. Examples of short-term memory I can give you where we had our lunch today or what we have eaten in lunch. So these are some short-term memory. Now long-term memory, it is the permanent ability to recall information for months to years, even for lifetime. So it is the permanent ability to recall information for months to years, even for lifetime. So examples of long-term memory, I can give you that the work skills we have learned during our internship. So this is the example of long-term memory. Now mechanism of memory formation. So how this memory forms in our brain? So memory forms by a process of long-term potentiation or LTP. So LTP is a process by which synaptic connections between neurons become stronger. Synaptic connections between neurons get stronger. So we you know that between two neurons we have a space that is called synaptic space. So that is getting strong. Now how it is occurring, I'm showing you the mechanism here. Now suppose this is the neuron. Here this is the neuron. And here is one more neuron. So this neuron is presynaptic neuron and this neuron is postsynaptic neuron. So this neuron, this is actually transmitting the signal. This neuron is transmitting the signal and it is called a presynaptic neuron. And this neuron is receiving the signal and is called postsynaptic neuron. Now, when the presynaptic neuron, this one, when the presynaptic neuron is stimulated, suppose this neuron is getting stimulated. When this neuron is stimulated, it releases some neurotransmitters. So I am drawing some neurotransmitters. These are some neurotransmitters. And in case of memory, we can write them mainly. These neurotransmitters are glutamate. These are glutamate. And these neurotransmitters or glutamate, they bind to NMDA glutamate receptors on this postsynaptic neurons. Where they will bind? So I am drawing them here. So these are some receptors and these are NMDA glutamate receptors. So this event, that means the binding of glutamate in NMDA glutamate receptors, this event leads to opening of some channels in these postsynaptic neurons. So some channels will be opened here. Suppose these are some channels. These are some channels. And these channels are actually allowing sodium and calcium ions to flow in these postsynaptic neurons. So what will come here? Here some sodium and calcium will come. They will enter through these channels in the postsynaptic neuron. And the number of ions that enter postsynaptic neuron alter the membrane potential. So the membrane potential will change due to the entry of some ions. So the membrane potential will change, and this event strengthens the synaptic connections between pre and postsynaptic neurons. And with repeated stimulation, synaptic strength will get increased. That's why sometimes we need to murmur the textbook for few times so that we can by heart them, because in that case we are providing repeated stimulation and the synaptic strength gets increased. When the increased strength lasts for a long time, it is called long-term potentiation that helps us to recall something.